It's going to be a short reading tonight because before too long, I've got to be on this software again to actually work our soul session. Speaking of which, if you go to Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page at 7 p.m., 1900 hours, if you like, Central Time, you will see our soul session. It's about Black History Month. It's about heroic Black figures in the last, I think the last century and a half, approximately. So maybe last century, something like that. But I assure you it will be interesting, it will be varied, and there will be different speakers. And we'll only be speaking for maximum 5 minutes at a time. Even though we have several ministers on there, well, at least 3, we will do our very best to be brief. So here is my kind of brief reading for today, the 19th of February, 2025, from the Science of Mind magazine, the Daily Guides. Here we are, and it's called Let's Return to Love. First quote is from Eva Bell Werber, Quiet Talks with the Master. We've heard from her before on more than one occasion. Quiet Talks with the Master. My child, do you not see that as you are more and more attuned to me, capital M, only love shall be the prime factor in your life? My child, do you not see that as you are more and more attuned to me, only love shall be the prime factor in your life? Eva Bell Werber. And Ernest Holmes in the Science of Mind textbook says, we live in a universe of love as well as in a universe of law. One is the complement of the other. And Holmes typically used love and law to mean the conscious and the subjective minds of the universal all, God, Spirit, everything. And this is from Eugene Holden, our writer this month. He says, we really cannot say enough about the power of love. Not too long ago, I was at a function and overheard a woman say that love is not enough. She was talking about coming out of a relationship, and her experience was that love was not enough to keep the relationship together. She said the other person in the relationship was not holding up their end of, quote, the bargain, unquote. So she ended the relationship. I asked if I could join the conversation, and after getting permission, I stated that love is always enough. This young lady was adamant in letting me know that love is not always enough. I asked, was it not love for herself that had her end the relationship? Silence. For us to create a world that works for everyone, from a place of love, we must be really clear about loving ourselves first. Whenever I find myself in a situation that has me frazzled and confused, I ask, what would love do here? No matter the situation, whenever you can, return to love. When we get past our societal beliefs about love, we find that love never fails. Of course, there's many different kinds of love, but just to not complicate things. Growing up as a kid and as a teenager and later as a young adult, I was taught by my religious institution that I was a sinner and I needed to be forgiven. And sometimes I was a horrible person because I'd sinned, and so on and so forth. This was not an atmosphere in which love was actually coaxed along and helped to grow. The truth is this: the great Master Jesus didn't hate himself. You don't see anywhere in the scriptures where he is beating himself up. And people say, yeah, but he was the Son of God, etc. Beside the point whether you believe Jesus was the only Son of God or not, or just a son, maybe the greatest son. But the point is this: you don't see anywhere in scripture where Jesus is hating himself. You actually see, oh, we see a cat coming in there. Oh, look at that. He's on the move. We see Jesus saying about love. He said the first and greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your mind, your heart, and your soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Now, if you're looking there are three mentions of the word love. Well, it's actually two, but the second one refers to your neighbor and yourself. You cannot love anybody else, God included, if you don't love yourself first. It's not possible. Why? Because you can't give what you don't have. You have to have it before you can give it. You cannot give money away if you don't have it. You can give people IOUs and everything, but you cannot actually give money away unless you've got it. And in the same way, you can't give love away unless you have it. So it is not selfish at all, as I was taught when I was a kid. It's got nothing to do with ego. It's got zero to do with ego. It simply means I accept the fact that I am a child of the divine and I'm okay as I am right now. I may have done stuff in the past that I'm not happy about, that I need to forgive people for. I need to forgive for. But right now, I'm a child of God and I'm okay just as I am. Why? Because I've made the decision to move on forward. If God is love, and if we are expressions of love, which I truly believe, expressions of God, then we're expressions of love. So that is my story. You cannot love anybody else unless you love yourself. It's not selfish, it's just common sense. You cannot give what you don't have. So, in order to love someone, to love a neighbor, to love God, you have to love yourself first. And if you want to look at that another way, you have to recognize that you are an expression of a source that is love in totality. And if it's love in totality, then your underlying structure is love. And that's all I got to say. Please come to the Soul Session. All you have to do, Creative Life Spiritual Center's Facebook page, 7 p.m. tonight, Central Time, 1900 if you prefer that expression. We will be on Facebook Live that time with Soul Session. The affirmation: I am love, lovingly loving all who come my way. I am love, lovingly loving all who come my way. So thank you for watching. Be tuned in tomorrow around about this time for another reading. Tune in tomorrow morning for Reverend Lisa at 9:15. I hope you got a chance to watch the meditation today at 11:15. I didn't. Why? Because I have been busy from 6:30 this morning, attending meetings, teaching two different classes, doing this, preparing for tonight's talk, and so on and so forth. I think it's wonderful to be busy. I think it's wonderful to be busy doing things that you like doing. And I do. So until next time, namaste.